Look at him. All smug, with glasses and everything. You could have said hi earlier. Hi, this is K.N.Fitzwater. You're watching my channel, and we're picking up with seeing Cooove here. He was hiding from us this whole time. How are you here? The shock knocked all the words out of you. Oh! You sneaky. You are sneaky. Surprise? Yeah, I am. And he got his glasses back on, too. His tone was easy and relaxed. It certainly was a surprise. Yet expecting him to be within the state, never mind your own house. He hadn't answered how he had suddenly disappeared back in Sunset Bird, though to be fair, you had been so astonished there hadn't been much of an opportunity for him to chat with you. Thankfully, Cloove was only waiting for a good moment to start. I began to explain. I got in about 15 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. For reasons only known to him, ever since the two of you had begun to get closer, he skipped going through the door and would scale the side of your house to get in through the window instead. That's so high school. None of my friends are able to do that. Because we have an awning right there, and that would be hard for anyone to climb on without anyone knowing. And also shared with my sister too, so that wouldn't have been sneaky. A small smile had formed on his face. You were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he had disappeared. You could still barely believe that he was really there, mere feet away from you. I left my bags in your backyard. I hope that's alright. That was when you truly understood. Cave had come straight to you upon getting back to town. You were his first port of call, taking precedence above all else. Oh, Cove. That was really sweet. See, I'm glad that I was able to choose that selection instead of letting the computer decide. We wouldn't have situations like these. No, I'm glad I made the call. I really did. Even though you haven't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he'll see you at the earliest opportunity, rather than allowing his plans to change. The realization made you bashful. Yeah, I was pretty bashful with my crushes. It wasn't news that you were special to Cove, but the way he prioritized you above everything else was something that flustered you. He smiled at the end. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Cove dropped from his seat on the windowsill, landing lightly on his feet. He made his way over to you, the smile still resting on his face. I'm glad you're here. I missed you. Yeah, actually, I would say that. I missed you. And I probably would have hugged him. Oh, wow. He's really grown. See, I really didn't want the computer to, well, I let the computer decide how to change his appearance, so that way I could be pleasantly surprised with all of this. Cove sighed contentedly, melting into the hug. He wrapped his own arms around your back in return. Taking your shoulder for a pillow, he laid his cheek against yours. I missed you too. Aww. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you've gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely, his raised cheeks bearing his eyes, which gleamed like hidden gems. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. How was the trip? Yeah, I had a great time. Cove told you about how his trip got... I can't speak! Cove told you about how his trip back had gone. His mom was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was thrilled about. As a result, Cooove was going to be sticking around in Sunset Bird for the time being. Things were settled, as much as they ever could be. With Cooove back once more, he felt at ease. Cooove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and the world beyond. The sun had set while you've been busy reuniting. I should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar, expectant look. Want to come with me? Oh, it's so late. No, but I'll walk you downstairs. Cool. Cooove began to head to your bedroom door. Now, I'll just follow him. I know that even though guys who are tall probably could handle pickabacks, I am still afraid of heights. The two of you casually went down to the ground floor of your house. In all the excitement of Coove's return, you haven't even remembered the gift you prepared for when he got back. It'd be best to give it to him now before he left your house. Wait, can you... Hold on 1 second, I got something for you. Coove's eyes widened as he tried to conceal a smile. He toyed with the collar of his top. Really? I mean, you didn't have to do that. You nodded with some eagerness. Tried to imagine how he would react when he actually saw it. The gift you had chosen hadn't been something you could buy. It was the orange shell he's been entranced with since you were kids. I knew it! You quickly went up to your room, collect the shell, knew exactly where to find it. It's been housed in the same box since you were a little kid, after all. Taking great care, you extracted from the case. That had been a long time since you had taken it out. The grooves were as familiar to your fingertips as the opening line of your favorite song was to your ears. Cooove had admired the shell ever since he first saw it, declaring it to be the best of all of your treasures. Despite that, he never accepted your offers to take it. You hoped that might change tonight. You closed your hand around the shell, not wanting Cooove to see it until you're ready, and headed downstairs. When you were back in front of Cooove, you cautiously lifted your arm up. He looked on curiously as you unfurled your fingers to show him the gift. I know you didn't want to take it from me, but what I want is for you to have it. Cooove stared down at the familiar shell nestled in your palm. His mouth parted, though no words came out. He drew his eyes up to meet yours, silently, and found the answer to whatever question he couldn't speak. Put his hand over yours and broke the silence. Okay. That's it? You could do better, Cooove! It was as quiet as a whisper. His fingers were as gentle as his words, brushing against your palm as you took the shell from your grasp. He cradled it carefully against his chest and smiled at you, his eyes bright. I'll keep it forever. Okay, nice recovery. Cooove reverently laid the gift safely on the counter, but he didn't turn back to face you once he had ensured it was secured. Though his face was angled away from you, you caught his eyelashes fluttering, as if batting away tears. His throat bobbed as he swallowed bubbling emotions. You knew that Cooove would be sentimental. The gift and all the memories and feelings tied up in it seemed to have taken a toll on him. When he began to shuffle, you felt the need to reach out. Cooove? I can't, you just cipher. I don't know what to do. He's forcefully scrubbing at his eyes, like he was trying to push the tears that threatened to spill back in. Oh, Cooove, it's okay. Do you need to cry? No. Look at that stream of tears! Oh my goodness. Ah. Nevertheless, tears had begun to spill down his cheeks, even as he wiped them away, taking more of their place. Just thank you. His voice quivered as he spoke. Cooove scooped you into a hug, pressing you so tightly against his chest that your breath escaped in a short squeak. He buried his face against your neck, his shed tears damp on your skin. You hug him back. You're welcome. Cooove let out a steady breath. It was far removed from the shaky gasp that had accompanied his sniffles. The tears had dried. His eyes were a little red but open, and at peace once again. He smiled, fully recovered from the emotion that had overcome him. You're really, seriously, too nice to me. He smiled back. I don't think there is such a thing as too nice when it comes to you. Cooove brushed his hand against the pale ghost of a scar on his arm. He was at a loss for what to do now. The clock ticked away, counting the seconds of silence. Once you had a chance to settle your thoughts, you figured you'd tell Cooove the intriguing news. I meant to tell you earlier, I saw Shiloh today. Shiloh? Cooove repeated the name, his expression blank. From when we were kids. Cooove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckly boy from that first summer, right? The one who moved? I met a guy named Shiloh. He looks just like him. Plus, how many years? But he didn't remember me and just left. Cooove frowned. That's on him. I don't know. Too bad I missed it, though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cooove known Shiloh for a shorter period of time, but he and Shiloh had never quite gotten along. Not that they were enemies either, just kids who were only ever together because of other people they both knew. I wonder what Shiloh's up to these days. I don't have any idea. He didn't say much. Oh well. That was everything you had on that news item, so you move on to the next big update. Also, do you know the mean old neighbors? The ones who always yell at us? He cringed, recalling those particular memories of back in the day. It was not pleasant, even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah? They're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. Coove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution for as far back as you could remember, long predating Coove's arrival. Even now, as a teenager, you found your neck prickling as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of their vacation home. It was strange to think of that coming to an end. Oh no, did it froze? There we go. Wow. Cooove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea in the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People being gone, people coming back. Feels like I missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, you haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Well, that's something. And we better not get left behind. There's still stuff to do. See you later. You waved him off as he headed back home, closing the door behind him. You wonder how you spend the rest of your night. You think up some plans for what to do now that Cooove is back. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of a new day was soon upon you. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast and you were in a pleasant mood. You hoped the rest of the day followed suit. Later, you were meeting up with your friends, Cooove, Miranda, and Terry, to go into town. It's all on short notice, but that was because everyone was just so excited that Cooove was finally back home. Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality. Your mom was watching you with a teasing smile. So, what's on the agenda today? I'm meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble, okay? She winked at you. You knew both of your moms wanted you to enjoy every bit of the summer before all the big changes started. I'll try. But before you go gallivanting around town, can you bring the mail in? I'm finishing up putting the dishes away over here. Alrighty. Thanks so much. Whoa. Okay, let me change this so you can see what I'm talking about. This is awesome. Wow, he's changed. He's really changed. As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around on the road. They noticed you too. Hey there, Cypher. Hi, good timing. You should come join us. You wave at him. Cove couldn't quite meet your gaze, but as you approach, the corners of his mouth pull into a smile. Is he crushing on me too? Are we crushing on each other? We're gonna hold that thought. You notice Mr. Holden was taking in the scene of you and Cove with a self-satisfied smile. Cove followed your line of sight and shot his dad an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Holden seemed like he had a thought dancing on the tip of his tongue, but he decided to keep it to himself. So, what are you up to today? As far as I know, nothing too much. Me and Cove are meeting some friends in town later. Sounds like a plan to me. Yawning, Mr. Holden stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I has been waiting around to see what the new neighbors are like. It was definitely his idea. I don't know how you are not interested in this. It's big news. Besides, it's only be polite to greet the new folks in town. That is true. Well, 81 has to be better than the last tenants.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That house could be cursed, and we could be getting ones that are progressively worse. Don't say that. Oh no. What if it's a Jeremy? Oh no. Oh, that would be awful. He cracked a cheeky grin at his own joke. You could tell Mr. Holden was looking at the empty house, thinking about the nightmare that was the last tenant. He chuckled, turning to Cove. But that would be horrible. Knock on wood. Mr. Holden took one more glance at the currently vacant building and sighed dramatically. When he turned back to you and Cove, his whole body seemed deflated. There was no sign of them, and I still need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. I can text you if anything happens. Really?
Of course.
Who is he expecting? Yeah, of course. I mean, only until I have met up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? With a wide grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Holden looked absolutely thrilled to have his nosiness enabled. Oh, God. That works. He moved to firmly place both hands over Cove's shoulders, fixing his child with a firm stare. Son, you are my true ally in this world. Mr. Holden stood up straighter, letting Cove go. He looked reinvigorated. Okay, with that settled, I'll go make some money. That's always been the one thing I do best. Mr. Holden headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Cove smiled the whole time you both watched his dad leave. Cove is one of your favorite people. Oh, Mr. Holden was one of your favorite people. Always tried his best and was honestly just great. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay? Yeah, just not looking forward to waiting. Guess I've been hanging around the street for a while. I can't wait with you. You wouldn't abandon Cove there to wither on the road out of boredom. Really? Of course. I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you for a moment, smiling softly, thinking about his response. I like that too. Cove put his hands on your shoulders, gripping you solidly, but not enough to hurt. His eyes fixated on you just as firmly. He was serious. Cypher, You are my one and true only ally in this world. You got a fair amount of chuckles from you. Oh, that got a fair amount of chuckles from you. You grin, the stoicism fading into amusement.
Thank you.
You're always good to me. I can't help myself. Yeah, well, good thing, then. I don't know what I'd do without you. The smile on his face reached his eyes, and it made you feel electric. And then he let you go. Cove stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a seat and leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Winter is coming. Nodding in agreement, you join Cove on the front porch steps. We both sat there in a comfortable familiarity as you settle in for the waiting game on the new tenants. The neighborhood was quiet, and you sighed contentedly, closing your eyes and feeling the light breeze. Eventually, you both perk up at the sound of a car. A taxi followed the noise, turning onto your street. Cove's eyebrows raised at the sight, and he sat up straight on the stoop. That has to be them, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. Not that they were here, you couldn't help but feel just a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in the neighborhood for the summer. The taxi pulled to a stop as you expected in front of the now empty condo. It was on the same side of the street as your house, a few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger door as it opens. The single occupant exited the cab. Huh? Is it his mom? You could feel what Cove was in that moment. After the last renters, this new visitor was definitely not exactly what you expected. Whoa. Am I gonna have to compete for Cove here? Is it gonna take Cove away from me? I'm just in a state of shock. Like, at first I thought, oh no, this is gonna be like competition or whatever. Maybe Cove thinks that he's like so cool looking or whatever, or maybe it's this game trying to give you options other than Cove to be engaged with or whatever. So I don't know. He was a young man, had to be close to your own age. He was dressed fully in the electric black and white and gray outfit, and his side-sweeping hair matched the scheme. The only other pop colors were something that couldn't easily be fashioned to submission, a pair of dark brown eyes, which you caught when he looked over at his audience. Hello, folks. Who might you be? We're the neighbors. The smile already prominent on his face curled further. It was cocky, but you didn't get the impression it meant something adverse. Hallelujah. Really? Is he wanting nice people for a change? Or were they out in the boonies wanting to meet people and just... I don't know. I'm going to have to look into this further. You and Cove shared a familiar look with one another, bewildered even further. The color-coordinated man left it there, however, and with a firm click, he shut the door of his ride. Then he turned his back to you to retrieve a large and surprisingly black suitcase out of the trunk. Continuing on with his own business, he strode forward and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckle, asking for them to roll it down. When it happened, he leaned down and rested his arm on the edge. Soon he was thanking the driver for getting them there, considering he slipped them a tip during the brief chat. They shook hands, and then he pushed himself up and away from the taxi with both arms, giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and outside around a corner. The new renter had officially arrived. Okay. And you can see that he's got some ripped jeans there, too. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with the confidence of someone who's been invited to join. And I am hiding Cove. I'm hiding his face. I'm hiding everyone's face. There we go. Cove finally stood up to greet this person. You followed suit.
Excellent.
Okay, this is a totally different new person here. I'm Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you. Neighbors? You were standing on the side he was approaching from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. I have no choice to shake it. Baxter gripped your hand firmly to give you a satisfying shake. Hi, Baxter. I'm Cypher. Hey, Cypher. I'm quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. From your other side, Cove made a sudden sputtering noise. And you are? Oh no. I wonder if this is actually not a competition for me, but competition for Cove, where he has to compete for my heart. Which honestly, Cove won it already, so I don't know. I don't know about this. He lifted his hand out to Cove next. Cove shook his hand, so eyeing Baxter carefully. Oh no, Cove, don't be that way. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for unknown reasons. His eyes shone as he studied Cove for a moment. Now wait, is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mildly, having given that explanation many times in the past. But it clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine a more fitting name for the face I'm seeing. Cove, that's gorgeous. It's really not. Hey, only I get to fluster him? I'm definitely gonna say that. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I do that? It wasn't my intention. Baxter grinned welcomingly. The entire conversation brought a burning red blush to Cove's face, and he couldn't make eye contact with either of you. You noticed that Baxter looked apologetic over Cove's increased discomfort. I'm sorry. I wasn't intending to mean more than it did. I like your name, but you don't have to mind that. I am patiently against stepping on anyone's toes. He chuckled to himself. It seemed like there was some extra meaning hidden there in his words, and he noticed that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your faces to know he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with the position of his feet. I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh, I would not get that. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Oh no, gosh, oh my gosh. Okay, going back up. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking. Well, he grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. If either of you are ever looking for a partner, I'm available. Okay. I think, oh geez. He's Frankenfurter. He is. He's Dr. Frankenfurter. It really is. Either he wants Cove or he wants me, or it's just going to be a mixture of both. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a wild summer. I'm all for it. I'm all for this drama. I'm all for it. Because everything was going very smoothly. It felt like it was a ending of a beautiful chapter, and then all of a sudden you have this unexpected element. And I was really thinking that we're gonna have to deal with a Jeremy guy, but this is so much better. Cove frowned at the upward forwardness. Thanks. I'll pass, I think. Really, Cove? I didn't answer. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I mean, maybe if something like that happens, I may learn to dance. I don't know, but I'm afraid that he's insinuating a lot more than dancing. Baxter nodded, understandably, and let the subject go. After that, there was a lull in conversation, and Cove attempted to fill it.
So,
What made you decision? What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh yes, well, my parents rented a condo, so I had a place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college and not living in the dorms. Oh. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eyes as he continued.
understood.
Ideally, they wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but lucky for me, they picked the wrong street, considering the two of you live here. Oh no. Oh no. Cove was practically reeling over how Baxter found a way to fit comments like that into every single topic thus far. Why do you keep doing that? You don't know us, but you talk like you already do. Cove spoke, firm yet genuinely confused, and Baxter smiled cautiously. I don't feel the need to keep words to praise myself, but when I say something, I mean it.
See?
Plus, what's the point of spending my off semester alone? The best part of being somewhere new is getting to interact with new people. Am I honestly the first person who's acknowledged you're attractive and intriguing people? True, you're hidden away in a tiny tourist trap, but still. Baxter crossed his arms. After studying your faces for a few seconds, he decided to continue. Am I only trying to score a hookup or get a romantic fling started by saying those things? No. That isn't the point of speaking well of others. I was raised better than that. Though, would I be fussed if that's what my words led to? Also, no. He's a player! He's a player! He wanted to have fun in the summer and just have loose connections and all that stuff. And here, Cove and I were trying to create a serious relationship, or hoping to. And this dude came along, being the. This is awesome. This is a really good turning point in the story. I'm really excited about that. This is very much straight up Rocky Horror, and I'm all for it. I think this dude is going to be a blast. And you know, technically, I'm not completely committed to Cove. So, who knows what happens? Who knows what's going to happen? I am flexible, not a surprise. I can back off with the lines if you don't like the attention, but I would like to be friends if we can. Cove wasn't sure how to respond. He glanced at you, and he continued to look at your face when he spoke. Thanks for answering. I'm not interested in any of that with you. Maybe not the friend thing, but the other part. Oh, is Cove straight? I would be dumbfounded. I would not know. I will let Cove do the talking. I'm always. I'm very quiet. I don't like judging people, and don't want to write off something unless I know them better. But I rather not be rude to them. So I would just climb up. I always climb up in these situations. Baxter looked at you and smiled apologetically. I'll keep it in check. Shifting his weight to his other foot, Baxter tried to move forward. So, since you were both already out of here, did my arrival interrupt anything? Definitely not. You told Baxter that you were both waiting to see who was going to move in. That condo hasn't had a new renter my entire life. We had to see who is moving in now. Baxter laughed at that, immensely pleased with your response. I'm getting a reputation in this town already. Not bad. But if either of you are free, I'll be thrilled to hang out this summer. But we could save the scheduled talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave a small nod of the head and flashed you both a dazzling smile. Goodbye for today. Bye. Co gave a small wave as well. Bye, Baxter. See you soon. Baxter then turned on his heels and strolled back to his suitcase, picking it up and bringing it to his condo. Hugh and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. With them completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath.
Well,
I don't know how I'm going to explain that guy to my dad. He burst into laughter, trying to imagine the conversation. Well, at least the job is done. We saw the new neighbor, and now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. He gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder. I have no clue. Honestly, you didn't know if you could ever come to a conclusion about him. Baxter was just so different. Turning attention back to Cove, you push all thoughts of Baxter aside, but started making your way towards town. A little while later, you and Cove reach a main street in town. All of a sudden, you stop walking. What's wrong? I think I heard my phone. You dug your cell phone out and looked at it with a satisfied grin. There was a new message. Before you could read it, you were distracted by a small, amused noise from Cove. His head was slightly tilted to the side as he carefully looked at your old keychain. I can't believe you still have that. Of course I do. I love it. You meant it. The intensity of your words had Cove blushing and looking away from you. Okay. I think what it is that we're waiting for a moment where we feel comfortable in coming out to each other. And I think that's what it is between me and him. For a moment, you were both at a loss for more words. You were sucked into remembering that day he bought it for you. Cove was the one who spoke up again.
nice.
I'm actually glad you like it. He looked back at you with a playful grin. Especially since it cost me a whole $6. That's like $30 in kid money. His matter-of-fact tone had you laughing deep. It took several moments to compose yourself enough to speak. I didn't realize that was the going rate. It was then. Probably more now. So you're trying to say that you're a big spender? In kid money, yeah. I was definitely a high roller, remember? That had you both bursting into laugh fits. Smiling, you refocused on the task at hand. You opened the new text from Miranda, and all you saw was, I can see you. Immediately from where you stood, you started swiveling your head around. You couldn't spot Miranda anywhere, but she did send you some more messages. Haha, I see you looking. Where are you? Ha, come on. Really, Randy? Oh. Oh, I get to choose through text. I thought it was all the same thing. Where are you? The message was sent and you were back to looking around, scanning for any sign of movement of familiar faces, but they were still invisible. Cove looked at you carefully, raising an eyebrow. You sighed at the ridiculousness. Sometimes I get a little serious at these moments. It happens. Sometimes like that. You weren't sure what Miranda had planned next. Cove looked at you puzzled, raising an eyebrow. What's happening? Before you could even begin explaining anything to Cove, you both snapped your attention to the yelling from across the street. Then you saw Miranda and Terry coming out from behind the backside wall of the grocery store. They started waving wildly and drawing even more attention to themselves. Cove took a step in their direction. Grinning, he put his hands around his mouth to better project his message across the street. Hey! Laughing and arm, the girls stopped only to look both ways and then rushed across the empty street. Oh, Miranda's cute! Oh, she's a treasure! Look at her! Oh, she's so cute! Hi, I hope you weren't waiting too long.
Hey, buddies.
Wow. Hey, buddies. Wow, she's like an elf, and she's like a hobbit. Seriously. I mean, this is so cool. Hi. I just wave. I just wave. They giggle at that, Terry waved back at you, and Miranda looked pleased that you weren't upset by her joke. Terry then closed the distance between her and Cooove and crushed him in a painfully tight hug. You're finally here. It's been so long. What took you? He did his best to eke out a reply with his chest being compressed. Sorry. Eventually, she let him go. Terry looked at him with a beaming smile, but Cooove was distracted, rubbing his arms. Standing there, Miranda shifted her weight to her other hip. She watched Cooove patiently with a bashful smile. Welcome back. Thanks. It finally felt official. Everyone was together in one place. From here, you weren't sure how often you would have another afternoon like this again. They didn't either. So, Cooove, Terry poked Cooove square in the chest. You're gonna have to give me your schedule this time yesterday.
No way.
Not really possible, Terry, but I can say as soon as I know. So far, work hasn't said anything, but I can tell you I'm busy with the Orca activities. When Cooove wasn't at his part-time job or pursuing his athletic academic interests, he volunteered for the Ocean Restoration California affiliation, Orca. Wow. Oh, that's so cool. He must be really pursuing marine biology of some sort. That's awesome. The group focused on cleaning up beaches and removing pollution for the ocean. Cooove always loved the sea. Didn't surprise you one bit when he started getting involved with it. Oh! I had done volunteer work during that summer with the Central Kentucky Writing for Hope. So I'm trying to remember how I got into that program. I don't know. I forgot. It just happened. It was either my mom or I found out and I begged her to let me do it. I don't remember how it came up. Their big smash event for the year is coming right up, isn't it? Yeah, that's not much more to do before then, but I'm kind of looking forward to the fundraising push. Hopefully we can pull it off. Well, if anyone can do it, it's you two. And even if it goes really badly, it'll still look good on the college application at least. That's true. Hey, guess what else? We don't have to stand here to say stuff. Let's go. I would like a meal now. Perking up, Cooove nodded in agreement. Yeah, for sure. The four of you headed into town, happily chatting the whole way. The only decision left to make was where to exactly stop and eat. The rest of the afternoon and evening passed by in a blink. When night fell, it was time to head home, and you parted ways with Miranda and Terry. You and Cooove reached your neighborhood without event. It was late enough that your out-of-the-way street was dark and silent. You ambled along. With every step, you knew that your fate was being sealed. Your feet were going to be sore well into tomorrow. It was taking a lot of mental focus to keep up and walk alongside Cooove. As it peered his face out of the corner of your eyes, you wondered why he felt so distant to you. It was out of character. For a while, Cooove stared silently ahead and left you alone with your own thoughts. It surprised you when you did hear his voice all of a sudden. Someone looked at you. It feels weird coming back to the neighborhood and trying to get into things like they're the same. And they're not. They changed. They're still changing. Your mouth felt uncomfortably dry all of a sudden. It was true. The things that kept the people you knew together were starting to disappear. Each person had to make their own priorities and their own path now that it wasn't set for them. You thought about your own immediate future. You still set on that for yourself. You wanted go to school full time. And that was the basics. That's what I was thinking back then. And it was a private college. And you wanted to stay local. Actually, yeah. It'll all be happening so soon. See, I already had been accepted by the time summer happened. Uh, I'm trying to remember who I told this to. No, I think not everyone knew, but definitely family, a couple of teachers, some friends. Now you wonder what Cove had in mind. You heard him consider some things for his future, but it was never anything that had counted as a real plan. I've been fortunate that my number one plan was going to work, and I was able to get there, even though I did select a major that ended up differently for me in the future. Going there helped me realize a broader sense of the world and understand things in a little bit more critical fashion. I was able to connect the dots on a broader scale, and that sense of connection of economy and down to the many different quadrants of life, whether it is science, or whether it's education, whether it's the military, whether it's politics or the economy. Everything is all interconnected in some shape or form. Even the arts, some of it is traditional, some of it is new. Some of it's a reflection of the events that had happened. Sometimes it's an individual self-expression. Um, if it wasn't for that sort of holistic approach to everything and trying to broaden my senses, I probably wouldn't be able to pull off the way I did with my books and my stories, or how I approach things to life. So I'm pretty happy that I was able to select a liberal arts, even though it is more Western orientated. I think a private school that had some sort of holistic approach, similar to the liberal arts, if not better, would be the best bet to go. I feel that way in some ways. And I know that's not for everyone. There are those who are into trade professions that really, really want to hit the ground running in their profession, and I think that's great. But once you're able to accrue the money and you have the occupation you really want, at the end of the day, what you're going to do with your off time? What music are you into? What type of stuff are you going to do? Etc. So, filling in those gaps of your life is what makes you human and makes you part of humanity. So, I think just taking a very broad spectrum is always good for everyone. I really do. Making it back home, you both step in the middle of the street. Cove sighed. Cove looked at the ground for a moment. His mouth trembled, trying to settle on the right words to say. Are we going separate ways? Please don't. We just got started. So you're planning on going to school and stuff in Sunset Bird? Yeah? Cove closed his eyes and nodded while he composed his thoughts. He looked at you when he lifted his head. I decided on something, well, kind of. He smiled slightly and rubbed his arm. Then his expression grew more serious. I'm not going to decide on a career or a school, not this summer. I'm going to stay here, at least in Sunset Bird. I'll probably move out of my dad's place. I'll be working my job, keep doing my volunteer stuff and everything else. Maybe I'll know what I want for myself by fall or next year, or maybe I'll never have a plan. Life will continue on with whatever's happening. I'm not going to crush myself trying to have everything figured out by a timeline that someone else has set. I just can't do it. His brow furrowed, and his tone was tense. It was clear how much expectations were weighing on him. I guess it would be me and you, right here for a while longer. His eyes were glossy. You were going to be separated, and that meant a great deal for... Oh, he's waiting for me. He's holding back for me. Oh dear. Am I holding him back? Like, or maybe I wasn't. Maybe he's not being held back. Maybe he's just at the right place in the right time. And everything is the way it is comfortably for him. Maybe once me and him are in a true relationship, we could actually start planning to live together and where we could go. Because maybe this character could transfer schools. So he could go to a school that works for him. And maybe, or both of us. So that is interesting. Because I think, personally, he's the type of guy who would have really good grades. And I don't think he's going to lose opportunities if we waited a year. And maybe that will create a really good beef for his resume, honestly, by doing other things. You nodded understandingly. Yeah. Cooove sighed. He looked relieved that you understood. I'll see you tomorrow, Cypher. I'll see you. Night. He pulled you into an unexpected hug. It knocked the breath out of you, yet couldn't have been a more reassuring feeling. You returned his embrace and stayed that way for as long as he could. Oh, this is what the game was talking about. How much of a interaction it is in the romance. This is it. This is one of those.
Good night.
Night. He finally let go, giving you another smile. I actually like that. I don't mind that. Something that unexpected with someone who is close and familiar, it's totally fine. That's totally okay with me. Then Cooove started walking away, but you remained there, frozen in the middle of the street. You watched him and wondered, how many times will he be able to say that he'll see you tomorrow? You hope for countless more times. Finally, you turned towards your own house. You vowed to yourself that you would make the most out of every moment you had this summer. And that was it. Wow. So, we got choices. And we're going to do that next time. So if you like this, please click that like button. And don't be afraid to subscribe. Click that bell so that way you know when I do come back on. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye.